Barcelona couldn't overcome Real Betis, but Real Madrid, who lost to Valencia in a disgraceful manner, couldn't take advantage of this Catalan slip-up. The terrible game of Vinicius is to blame for everything. Lamine Yamal refused to extend his contract with the Catalan grandee. His agent, the legendary Jorge Mendes, demands a guarantee from Barca, or his client will leave in the passage. Liverpool is ready to set a transfer record for the purchase of the APL star, and Jose Mourinho will lead the Brazilian national team. We're talking about this and much more today. Friends, this is Dose of Football and the top 10 hottest news to this hour. Urgently charge your royal likes so we can work without weekends. 5,000 thumbs up. Today, new video tomorrow. Well, I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. In Fenerbahce management, they are seriously considering the dismissal of Jose Mourinho. The behavior of the Portuguese has turned many members of the board of directors against him. What has this restless Van Dijk come up with again? Nothing new. Mourinho grabbed the nose of a fellow coach, causing a real scandal in Turkey. As if there are no other problems. In recent days, everyone is discussing this news and wondering what sanctions will be imposed on the Portuguese and what awaits him in the near future. The Fenerbahce management is strained by this situation. Immediately after the match, an emergency meeting was organized, where the behavior of the team's head coach was discussed. The club president Ali Koç, who wasn't even in Turkey at that moment, also attended this meeting. What did the Fenerbahce leaders decide? Opinions were split. The president supports letting Mourinho remain as the team's leader. However, many on the board of directors disagree with the president's position and believe that dismissal is the best way out of the situation. This Portuguese man's unacceptable behavior cannot be forgiven. But what did the management expect inviting the scandalous coach to their team? That he will behave quieter than water and lower than grass in restless Turkey, where there are enough passions without him? I don't think they didn't understand what kind of person they were putting at the head of the team. But even in case of Mourinho's dismissal, the Portuguese will not be left with nothing. He will again receive a multi-million compensation and possibly will go to look for a new victim. The name of the team where he could potentially continue his career is already known. It's the Brazilian national team. Various sources report that the Football Federation has added the Portuguese to the list of contenders. He is not there at the top of the list. Brazilians primarily want Guardiola or Ancelotti as their manager. Others will only be considered if this duo declines. Still, Mourinho is an intriguing candidate. The main goal of the Brazilian team is to win the World Cup, and the Portuguese is an expert in club tournaments. He was the last one who took an international title with Manchester United. He was the only coach in 70 years in Rome to have won the cup. And now he can become the first in 24 years to coach the Brazilian team that wins the World Cup. Well, or not become, it all depends on how the cards fall. Union of European Football Associations has disqualified 2 Real Madrid players right before the game with London's Arsenal in the Champions League quarterfinals. Kylian Mbappe and Antonio Rudiger suffered due to the controlling body's decision. All because of the violation of the Union of European Football Association's disciplinary code due to unsportsmanlike behavior after the return match with Atletico. The penalty shootout was the deciding factor in that duel, with Antonio Rudiger delivering the final blow. After which, the German made such a gesture towards the stands with Atletico fans, and considered it offensive, for which Rudiger received a fine of 40,000 euros and 1 match disqualification. But with the Germans' gesture, it's a plus-minus. Understandably, it doesn't smell like a real sportsmanlike behavior here. But the sanctions against Mbappe are already raising questions. The Frenchman collided with Lorenzo, who was trying to knock Rudiger off before taking the decisive penalty, taking the ball away from him. And for that, it suspended him for 1 match, as well as fined him 30,000 euros. In this case, Lorenzo should have also faced consequences, but for some reason he is not being questioned. And in general, the disciplinary committee refers to such a strange article in the Codex, which can be interpreted in its own way. Here's its text. Footballers can be punished if their behavior is offensive or otherwise violates the basic rules of decent behavior. And here's what it means. By this principle, any behavior of a footballer on the field can be considered unworthy. For example, according to the rule of band pants, because this can also be called unworthy behavior if you look at it from the right angle. And there is no explanation for this text in the Codex. Nevertheless, they didn't completely lose their minds to deprive Real Madrid of 2 key players before the Champions League quarterfinals. Rudiger and Mbappe will serve their disqualification conditionally, that is, until the next violation. But still, now real players need to behave more restrained, as at any moment the conditional removal can become actual. An unexpected contender has appeared in the information field for the coaching seat of Real Madrid. Sliverchi was previously interested in specialists connected to the club's history. Xabi Alonso is currently the leading candidate. In his playing career, the Spaniard played for Real Madrid and won not the most prestigious trophies with them, just like Zinedine Zidane. But now the leadership of the Reds is looking at Antonio Conte, who is currently heading Napoli. The future of the current coach of Real has been discussed more than once. At the moment, it seems that Ancelotti is closer to leaving Madrid than staying there, and there are several reasons for that. Firstly, they are planning to change the generation. It makes sense if they invite a new coach with a modern outlook for it. Secondly, Ancelotti has an offer from the Brazilian national team, which is a tempting option for the Italian. Well, to take such a weighty trophy as the World Cup, it would mean that he has completely finished the game. Thirdly, throughout the season, questions arise about Real Madrid, and many would like to see a more daring style of play from the team. They also report that this is not the first attempt by Madrid to bring Conte to the team. Many years ago, during an oil industry crisis under Julen Lopetegui's leadership, management contacted Antonio. His appointment was blocked by the team's heavyweights. The issue was that such footballers as Sergio Ramos and Marcelo were afraid to spoil the atmosphere in the locker room. That's why they then appointed the convenient Santiago Solari, who was replaced by Zidane a few months later. Now, discussions are also being held at the helm about inviting Conte. Some people like his style of play and experience of winning in big tournaments, while others think that the Italian will not be able to handle the dressing room and he will have to be replaced soon. Whatever the decision, Antonio Conte will not be unemployed at Real Madrid. After all, not only Madrid are interested in him, Juventus sees the Italian as the top choice to replace Igor Tudor, who will likely depart after the season. Moreover, the fans have good memories of Conte's work as the head of the team. They won the golden medals 3 times with him and showed good football, better than now. Therefore, this coach will find a club, even if he can't come to terms with the current one. Bavaria has still betrayed the club legend, in essence throwing him out of the club. Thomas Muller's future has been a hot topic recently. The player's contract was ending, and no new offer was made by the club. This began to stress not only the footballer himself, but also the fans and even his partners. In the locker room, they were confused by the management's silence, but Bayern's bosses had already made their decision. At the end of the season, Muller will leave the club without being offered a new contract or the opportunity to choose, and the topic will be closed. They will just show him the door, and that's it. Until yesterday, all this was just rumors, but Muller decided to personally put all the dots over the I, thereby ending the speculation. The club consciously decided not to negotiate a new contract with me for the next season, even though it did not match my personal wishes. It's important that the club follows its convictions. I respect this step, which undoubtedly gave management and the advisory board a hard time, said the Bavarian legend. Such an attitude is hard to understand, even considering the club's desire to rebuild the team. Did Muller demand some astronomical money or a long-term contract? It seems not. He was ready to stay in the team, playing for food, so it would have been possible to negotiate and extend the contract with the legend for at least one more season. The management chose not to make a fuss, but now it must be prepared for the fallout. The Bavarian fans reacted negatively to this news. A storm of dissatisfaction is brewing online, potentially escalating into a larger issue. As for the future of Muller, nothing has changed here. He will finish this season in Bavaria, play in the Club World Championship, and then go to Major League Soccer. No other information has come in over the past couple of days. Paris Saint-Germain has officially become the champion of France. The team has secured first place with 6 rounds to go until the end of the season. To guarantee themselves the gold medals, all Bandihuiche had to do was not lose to outsider Angers at their home arena. The task was simple, and understudies Luis and Enrique understood it perfectly, so they didn't even strain themselves. Nevertheless, the relaxed Paris Saint-Germain proved too much for Angers. Throughout the match, Angers failed to pressure Gigi Donnarumma, and the winner was decided. At the beginning of the second half, Wojciech Kvaratskhelia decided to delight the fans with a beautiful victory and elegantly passed the ball to Dizerdu. All he had to do was to get the ball into the goal, which the young forward managed without any problems. There's nothing more to tell about the events in this match. The gap between Paris Saint-Germain and the rest of the French teams is too large. No matter how many times I've watched the games of the Capital Grandee in the league, I've never seen their footballers really strain. For them, it's like a warm-up before the Champions League matches and nothing more. The statistics confirm this. Paris Saint-Germain doesn't have a single defeat in the league. And since no one in France can give them a real fight, not even Monaco or Marseille, who are in second place, Roberto De Zerbi, there is every reason to believe that they will finish the season without knowing the pain of defeat. In short, the easy game started in April, and there is already a champion in the league. So what about the Parachi tournament? But it's worth admitting, Luis Enrique has gathered a powerful gang. Parisians rarely had to strain for the championship, but there is a feeling that this season, Paris Saint-Germain has reached some forbidden level. And yet, there is neither Kylian Mbappe, nor Lionel Messi, nor even Neymar in the squad. This is the result of the coach's work, not individual stars. Even Dembélé started overperforming under Enrique. What is there to talk about? Of course, the real test for this team will be the Champions League. No one will roll out the red carpet for them there, and they will have to fight tooth and nail for victory in every match. If they at least make it to the finals, then we can truly evaluate the Spaniards' work. And, of course, I want to separately congratulate our guys with the posts Savka, Kvradonu, and Safonov. A new achievement in Juhwici's career, already his second championship title in the top 5 European leagues. At this rate, you can gather a full collection by the end of your career. The incredible game of Giorgi Mamardashvili and the shameful game of Vinicius did not allow Real Madrid to overtake Valencia. What's more, they lost to Flying Isham at home, and did it on their home turf. I suspected that Valencia would cause problems for Madrid. Recently, she has become a challenging competitor for them, despite the crisis. And just a few days ago, Real Madrid struggled for 2 hours in Cuba with Ciudad, and physical fatigue could have played its role. No, I don't know if she specifically said it, but Madrid lacked a precise, decisive action throughout the match, even though the game advantage was colossal. Look at the statistics and tell me, where is the team that lost? But, as I said, Giorgi Mamardashvili was the main hero of the meeting. The Georgian goalkeeper already boosted the team in the first minutes, repelling a penalty from Vinicius Jr. This is the second time in a row that the Brazilian doesn't score from the spot. Maybe, should this right be checked by Mbappe? He seemed to do better, but that's just a saying. In the next attack, Valentin scored, assisted by a standard and another lapse in concentration from Real's defense. Rodger unexpectedly played weakly on the second floor and allowed Dikabit to make a turn. The young Madridista debutant couldn't save the day, while Mamardashvili made one stunning save after another. The Georgians excelled in yesterday's game. And if you want to appreciate the full beauty of the game of the two Georgian geniuses, you can check out our Telegram channel. There you will find replays of Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, and other matches. Well, the link to the Telegram will be in the description and in the pinned comment. But let's get back to the game. Mamardashvili's confidence inspired the field players. In the end, it was Valencia who advanced and seized the win, not Real Madrid, who appeared to be vying for the title. It appears this is truly Carlo Ancelotti's final season leading the struggling team. Even if they win some trophy, there are too many questions piled up about their game. Somewhere, the unshakable confidence that was the hallmark of the Royal Club for many years has been lost. Now it seems that anyone can beat Madrid, even though they have players of cosmic level in attack. This definitely wouldn't have happened under Zidane. Liverpool is ready to make one of the loudest acquisitions in the entire history of the Premier League. According to the publication, the club is considering the possibility of transferring Alexander Isak and is ready to pay 35 million euros for the Newcastle United forward. This could become a new record not only for Liverpool, but for the entire league. The costliest Premier League transfer is Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea for 121 million. But, as you understand, this record could fall if Liverpool makes its offer to Soroka. Such a deal has all the grounds! Isak is excelling at Newcastle this season, becoming a key player. Although contract extension talks have taken place, he is not rushing to sign a new deal. In recent weeks, they have hit a dead end. The Swede wants to play in the Champions League, and his current team can't guarantee this for the next 25 years. Isak is at his peak, and it's quite logical that he's thinking about the next step. Liverpool, in turn, is ready to offer not only stability, but also big goals. The club is preparing for the start of a new era, and a striker of such a level fits perfectly into the plans for renewal. Newcastle reportedly doesn't want to let go of their leader, but perfectly understands that with each day it becomes more difficult to hold on to him. Liverpool's interest is serious, and it will not be easy to refuse such a substantial amount. There is no official offer yet, and ISOK himself has not given a definitive answer, but the wait won't be long. The transfer window will soon open, and then it will become clear, will a new stage of career begin for the Swede? Misfortune struck unexpectedly. Barcelona may not be able to extend the contract with Lamine Yamal, and the young winger will have to look for a new club. This summer, the Spaniard is supposed to sign his first professional contract as he turns 18. Barcelona has the paperwork ready and the forward plan to sign as soon as permitted. However, the Catalans' financial situation may disrupt the deal. The player's agent, Jorge Mendes, fears that Barça is offering more than it can afford. The Portuguese underdogs have already fallen into this trap more than once. The leadership of the Catalans promised large additional payments to João Felix and João Cancelo when they signed contracts with them. However, the promise was not fulfilled, and the players suffered financial losses. Jorge Mendes does not want the same thing to happen to his most valuable client and will demand payment guarantees from the Barcelona leadership. Otherwise, Lamine Yamal will not sign a new agreement and may even leave Camp Nou. Where can the young genius of Barcelona go? The options remain the same as before. These are Paris, Saint-Germain, and Manchester City. Parisians have long followed the young Catalan talent. Last summer, they attempted to acquire him for a staggering 75 million, but Laporta declined the offer. Well, there were recent news that the Paris Saint-Germain management is now planning not just to buy Yamal from Barcelona, but to take him for free. The current situation may benefit them, as they are already collaborating with the player's entourage, promising them immense wealth and more. The transfer of Yamal, though improbable, remains possible due to mounting pressures from various sources. However, it's unclear where another winger would fit in with Jean. But if they get Yamal for free, then no one will bother with such silly questions. And everyone will be shocked at how Barcelona could let one of their main stars go. It's no secret that Manchester City is preparing a real revolution in the squad for the summer transfer window. English Grant was late with the change of generations, and now they have to make up for it. Many veterans will leave the team. Kevin De Bruyne's departure is officially confirmed. Kyle Walker and Ederson are likely to stay at Manchester City, but who will be the new additions to the team? The main transfer goal will be the move of Florian Wirtz. The German midfielder is considered the perfect replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. They will have to pay a lot of money for him, but money has never been a problem for the citizens. Manchester City is also planning to sign a new goalkeeper. This season has shown that you can't rely on Ederson or his understudy. The citizens are looking at Porto goalkeeper Diogo Costa. This is the same goalkeeper who made 3 saves in the penalty shootout of the last European Championship. Then it seemed that he would change his club registration that same summer. However, Costa remained loyal to Porto, but he may soon move to Manchester. The citizens are also trying to sign the talented fullback from Juventus, Andre Cambiaso. They wanted to buy him out in January, but they were unable to close the deal then. Nevertheless, the Manchester team does not intend to give up and is highly likely to secure the defender's transfer in the summer window. Moreover, City wants to strengthen the centre-back position. That's the zone that Rodri used to cover. In the end, relying on the Spaniard proved detrimental. This season, Tuda plans to make 2 transfers at once. This is the purchase of Adam Wharton and Eduardo Camavinga from Real Madrid. Manchester might spend an insane sum this summer. Anyway, as usual, all the desires will fit into the city's budget of 400 million euros. And this will be a new transfer record. Well, that's the price of Guardiola's successful career. Barcelona failed to take advantage of their rival's slip and pull 6 points clear of Real Madrid. But this was to be expected, as they were up against the team of the legendary Anthony, who is also in good form. The last time Betis lost points in the Spanish La Liga was about 2 months ago. Since then, the team has known neither sorrow defeat nor even draws. They have only defeated their rivals, one of which was the Slivoc club. This match was important for both teams. Barcelona needed to strengthen its leadership positions against the backdrop of the main competitor in the fight for the title. And Betis needed to score points to fight for a place in the Champions League zone, where this team hasn't been for 20 years. Here's what Anton Zivotariescu did with it. The trip was expected to be difficult, and it was. Initially, it seemed Barcelona would once again overshadow its rival. The Catalans led as early as the 7th minute with Gavi's efforts, and Betis's defense was too scattered. It initially lacked integrity and proper delivery, but as the match progressed, it became a significant problem for Barca's attack, especially considering that the score quickly became nil. Ronald Araujo got caught out on the corner kick, couldn't hold his opponent, and the latter easily redirected the ball under the crossbar. No matter how hard Barcelona tried to score, the score remained nil. Betis performed well against the league's best attack, even though they were lucky. Frankly, the Catalan attack was subpar in this match. Lamine Yamal especially underperformed. I haven't seen a young winger make so many mistakes in a long time. Every action is off target. No accurate passes, no successful dribbling, not even an effective continuation of the attack was visible from him. This was definitely not his game. Thus, thanks to the draw of Barcelona and Betis, the intrigue in La Liga is still alive. The Catalans are 4 points behind Real Madrid, but there are still many matches ahead in which the situation can be corrected, including the clear confrontation between the clubs, which will take place in early May. As always, you can watch the review on our television. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel. My name is Kirill Kast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house and to your Hanga friends.